It started off with a kid. I had been walking around inside of an apartment complex. It was middle of the night, and the sky was a very dark green. The trees that I saw, the leaves were very dark purple, but it was notable that they were purple. And the bark of the trees was actually normal. It was brown. However, the roots were pulsating, and they were glowing through the dirt. However, it wasn't a color. It was just a glow, an illumination. These trees were in the apartment complex that I was walking around in this night. And as I walked around, I eventually arrived at a playground. And at this playground was a kid. And he was swinging. And behind the swings was an obelisk. Giant stone, right behind him. It wasn't cut or refined. It was just a big, long, or elongated stone behind him. And I came up to the kid, and I asked him about the rock. And the kid had nothing to say. The kid, though interested and curious of me, would not speak. And would not speak of the stone. And so I started to swing with the kid. I had to swing back and forth and back and forth. And as I tried to get higher and higher, I eventually made a loop. And when I made the loop, when I made it back down, I was inside of a car. This car was an old car that was tan colored, more like a beige. It was one of those steel cars that you might have seen in the 30s or 40s. And while we were driving in the highways of Houston, where the actual roads, the highways, were themselves also tan and beige, and the lights casting down were a bright sunny orange. We were driving. I was in the passenger seat, and the person beside me is somebody that I know, rather loosely, that I don't really have any connection with, or any friendship with, or really know beyond an association with somebody else. There may be a few words that have been passed to one another before. But we're driving. He is driving. And as we go and go and go, eventually we get to the bridge, to a bridge. In Houston, there are many bridges for the roads, but one starts to take us up and take us up. And as we go on forward, I start to notice that this bridge is unfinished. And rather, without any alarm or with any fear, we go off of the bridge and continue to drive up. We start to fly. And the car is going and going and going and going into the sky until we see the entire panorama of the gigantic city of Houston below us. And we start to see green out in the distance. It is illuminated as if it is day, even though the sky is still a dark green. And as we're flying, I start to recognize that the fact that we're flying, that we are now able to do as we wish, to go as we wish. And I look to the driver, this person that I barely know, and I tell him, look, this is amazing. This is a miracle. We can go anywhere we like. We should go. We go anywhere. Where would you like to go? And the man looks at me straight in the eyes, and he says, I can't. I don't feel like it. I got better things to do. And then as soon as he said that, we start to fall. And we fall sharply and quickly. And then I'm back in the swing. I made it across the other side. And the kid is no longer swinging, standing right next to me. And he looks at me and he finally speaks. And he says, come over to my place. We can play over there. And so I follow the boy. And when I arrive at his house, I get to the apartment door, He closes it behind him. And I knock. And the door evanesces, completely disappears. It becomes a blank wall. And I turn around and I walk back. And I go back to the playground. Where the playground, the swings and everything else that was used for playing have disappeared. And all that's left is an obelisk. It is a gray stone, almost limestone. And it is there, present, before me. I'm staring at it. And then I start to see on the stone something forming, as if crumbling away, slight pieces crumbling away, to reveal some words, to reveal something, as if something is going to come out of the obelisk. And I start to see a white crack, and then I wake up.